Namaskar. Welcome to our channel Bio by Gulab Sir for Wisdom Coaching Center. As a part of series of lectures, now today's topic is transport of carbon dioxide. We already learned that transport of oxygen. Transport of carbon dioxide, as you know that what is the source of carbon dioxide in our body is process of respiration, where breakdown of complex organic substances to produce energy and heat, so as to byproduct is carbon dioxide, and that process as respiration process. Once again, to have the best understanding, before that the heading is transport of carbon dioxide. Now what is that process? C6H12O6 undergo breakdown, that is oxidation in our body, continuously producing carbon dioxide, 6CO2 plus 6H2O plus 36 ATP, that is 676 kilocalorie energy. 676 kilocalorie energy. So what is byproduct of respiration is carbon dioxide. Now the topic is transport of carbon dioxide, where it is produced at the site of tissue, where this process is going on at the site of tissue. So continuous production of this carbon dioxide need to be exhaled out. So when it produces in our tissue, this is being first carried out to or diffused out from tissue to the blood. Now blood has two parts. To understand that better way, I can make here two parts of that blood is composed of plasma as a fluid part, and composed of blood cells. Among blood cells, RBC is important for the transport of carbon dioxide. Here, this you consider this part is a RBC. Now this carbon dioxide produced is first diffused in blood plasma. It comes in blood plasma because RBCs are not directly in contact with tissue. Blood is in contact with tissue through capillaries. So carbon dioxide diffused from tissue into the plasma. From this plasma, this carbon dioxide is transported as it is in dissolved form. So there is three form, that in three form carbon dioxide is transferred. So make the list so that it will be best to have the understanding that first dissolved form, carbon dioxide transported in dissolved form. So how much it is transported in dissolved form? Dissolved form is only 5 to 10%. 5 to 10% transported in dissolved form. Then second, it transport through sodium bicarbonate in the form of sodium bicarbonate. It transported in the form of sodium bicarbonate is 70 to 80%, 75 to 70 to 80%, 75 to 80%. So 80%. And remaining, that is transported in the form of carbaminoglobin along with hemoglobin, carbaminoglobin, that is 20%. So again it's very 15 to 20%, but yes, this is given in your book. So in this three form it is even transported. So dissolved form as it is, in dissolved form it transported to the, so suppose this is a tissue site and this is a lung site where that carbon dioxide has to exhale out. So how it come to the lungs now? Now this CO2 which produce in tissue and diffuse into the blood plasma, it diffuse into RBC. Suppose this area is RBC. Now in RBC, this carbon dioxide combined with water in presence of this CO2 combined with water to form H2CO3 in presence of carbonic anhydrase. The name of the enzyme is carbonic anhydrase, you know, therefore I am not writing full form. carbonic anhydride is present in RBC. So this H2CO3 which produced in RBC get dissociated into H plus HCO3. Now this HCO3 transfer from RBC or diffuse out from RBC to plasma, where that combined with sodium. So sodium chloride present in blood plasma get dissociated into sodium and chloride ion. So this sodium ion get combined with this HCO3 produced here and form NaHCO3. So this is sodium bicarbonate. 75 to 80% of carbon dioxide is transported from this tissue to the lungs in the form of sodium bicarbonate. When it reaches to the lung site, at the site of lungs, this NaHCO3 get dissociated into sodium ion plus HCO3 ion. Now this HCO3 from plasma diffuse into the RBC once again to combine with hydrogen. So this HCO3 once again combine with hydrogen to form H2CO3 in RBC, because to form this H2CO3 require enzyme carbonic anhydrase, and that is present over there. So HCO3 ion combine with proton H positive to form H2CO3. Later this H2CO3 get dissociated into H2O plus CO2. Now CO2 is exhaled out through lungs alveoli. See how this 75 to 80% of carbon dioxide is transported from tissue through blood to the lungs for exhalation. I hope you did understand how major part of the carbon dioxide is being transported from tissue to lungs to exhale out. So here it is. Now byproduct. So best understanding this chlorine as a byproduct of dissociation of NaCl. So as that Na can combine with bicarbonate to form the sodium bicarbonate, this Cl get diffuse in. Here I can show by this line. Combine with potassium as KHBO2 become free after delivering of KHBO2 become free, that is what K plus HBO2, that HB plus O2, so it is delivered to the tissue, and that K which become free that combine with Cl to form the KCl, so as to come to the site of the lungs, where once again this KCl get dissociated into K plus Cl. Now that Cl which was transferred inside the RBC now come out to combine with sodium once again to form the, so Cl here this is a potassium, and this Cl transfer again out into the plasma to combine with Na to form NaCl, and again this NaCl will transfer through blood, no doubt it will transfer through blood to the tissue site once again to have the same process. Now this transfer of chlorine from plasma to the RBC and once again from RBC to the plasma, this is known as chloride shift. What is it called as? Chloride shift. And this chloride shift is also known as Hamburg phenomenon. This you have to remember as a part of NEET question. Hamburg phenomenon, also known as chloride shift. I hope you did understand that major part of carbon dioxide, how it is being transported along through blood in the form of bicarbonate. Already I did explain that 5 to 10% of carbon dioxide is as it is transported through blood in dissolved form to exhale out. Now remaining one, that is around 20%, is transported in the form of hemoglobin. So this Hb which become free here, it combine with carbon dioxide, so to form HbCO2. This combine with carbon dioxide, that is as we have written here 20% of carbon dioxide 20% of carbon dioxide is transferred in the form of HbCO2, that is carbaminoglobin. And now when this HbCO2 come here, this Hb get dissociated to once again combine with potassium, because here potassium become free. So HbCO2, here Hb plus CO2, the CO2 delivered, and now this Hb combine with this potassium to form KHB to combine with oxygen and form KHbO2. So this again will combine with oxygen, because at the site of lungs oxygen will be added, will form KHbO2, and that is what shown here. So I hope you did understand how did this carbon dioxide is transported. Carbon dioxide is transported in three different forms. The first here is in dissolved form, that is 5 to 10%. Second is here, that is 75 to 80% in the bicarbonate form, and 20% here, that is in the form of carbaminohemoglobin to exhaled out. I hope you did understand this in detail, to how the comparison of what I did explain and diagram, related diagram given in. So to understand, we have this diagram is given on NEET and even in reference book. Here at the site of tissue, oxygen is delivered and carbon dioxide is received. That carbon dioxide which received into plasma, from plasma is diffused into RBC. Suppose these are the RBCs, and by outside part is plasma, bicarbonate from lungs to the, from tissue to the lungs. Now at the site of lungs, once again, that NaHCO2 split into Na plus HCO3. Now HCO3 cannot release the carbon dioxide as it is unless and until it form H2CO3. So HCO3 has to diffuse in RBC once again to combine with hydrogen to form H2CO3, and further H2CO3 split into CO2 plus H2O to deliver this CO2 out. So here this is delivered out. I hope you did understand what I did explain in the previous page. This was explanation. It is slightly complicated, but in the process when I was explaining, that time you would have seen clearly what I was explaining. Although this complication may not be accepted or may not be easily to receive by you, but you can see this video again and again, so that you will come to know what exactly I did explain. And yes, being student, you can have already reading about this topic, and I hope you did clearly understand my explanation how carbon dioxide is being transported from tissue to the lungs for exhalation in these three different forms. So in NEET, question can be asked that about in which form do the carbon dioxide is transported. So carbon dioxide in dissolved form is transported. Percentage of carbon dioxide is transported in dissolved form. A, B, C, D, they can give any percentage, but answer will be 5 to 10%. Even can be asked that carbon dioxide is transported in the form of sodium bicarbonate is, percentage will be given in vary, that A, B, C, D correct will be 70 to 75 to 80%, and that carbon dioxide transported through hemoglobin or in combination with hemoglobin, the percentage will be 20%. Now what is chloride shift is the very famous question, can be asked in NEET, that transport of chlorine from plasma to the RBC and RBC to the plasma is known as phenomenon. Different phenomenon will be given. Among that, the answer will be Hamburg phenomenon. I hope you did understand. Even if you are in doubt, you can ask in comment section. I appeal you to like our channel and subscribe it, as well as press bell icon to receive you videos as and when they are uploaded. Thank you.